It is.
Great game. We missed that sports quiz. I don't know what it was.
What's that? What was the question?
I don't know.
Buffalo Bill cheerleaders very precarious now. Redskins having their problems too. At the moment they have a 7-0 lead, but the Bills have tightened up on defense here in the second half. We're now opening the fourth quarter. Mike Thomas runs. He breaks through, and Thomas gets out across the 45-yard line. He gets a first down. The first game that was ever played in this stadium here in Orchard Park, the Bills' new stadium, was a preseason game against the Washington Redskins. The opening kickoff went to Herb Mulkey. Very first play ever, and he ran it the distance for a touchdown. Somebody asked if that was a record for the stadium.
I remember the opening kickoff when the Miami Dolphins in 1966 went to a fell out of Georgia Tech all the way. So that was a heck of a way to start the year for them. Heck of a way to start the franchise.
Started as New Orleans started. John Gilliam ran back the opening kickoff the first game against the Rams in regular season for a touchdown.
The blitz is on.
Theismann has hit back at the 33-yard line. We'll watch that pass rush come in again now as Buffalo comes steaming.
Here you see the pass rush. Marv Croker, the middle linebacker, the Ben Williams, and then Mike Kadish, number 71, who's played just a tremendous ball game for the Bills today. Makes the tackle on Theismann, so it brings up a second and forever for the Redskins. But Kadish is playing good ball, Don. He's really been playing solid. And like they said, he's been the most consistent defensive lineman they've had all year.
That is Buffalo's first sack of the game. They've come close a number of times, have flushed Theismann out of the pocket, but a number of times he's turned that into good play.
14-yard loss.
Loss of 14. They go to the draw, and Calvin Hill works his way out the middle, but not very far. And it'll bring up third down now and about 22. There is Jim Ringo, who is a captain of those great Green Bay Packer teams under Lombardi, an offensive center. He is the man who put together the offensive line at Buffalo they call the Electric Company because it turns loose the juice. But because of the injury to Simpson, they don't have that opportunity this year. Bills with the great running game that almost gained 3,000 yards one year. Simpson gained 2,000 himself. It's pretty good work.
Not bad.
392
Theismann steps into the pocket, puts it up. And the ball was underthrown. They were trying to get it out to Mike Thomas. So the Redskins have to punt the ball back to Buffalo. The Bills are working into a win here in the fourth quarter. 13:43 to play in the game, and the score is the same as it was at the half. 7-0. Washington in the lead. As at New York, the Giants are beating the Cardinals 20-7 in the third quarter.
Mike Bragg should get off a good punt here because he's kicking with about a 40-45 mile an hour gale.
John Kimbrough and Keith Moody are back deep for the Bills. Ball's hit well down the field, taken by Keith Moody, and here come the Redskins. Boy, they play great special teams. Rusty Tillman, number 67, made the hit.
Well, they're happy in New York again. The Giants just extending their lead to 27-7. Willie Spencer on a 4-yard run here at 7-0.
Lewis went out of business.
Huh? Puts them right back in it. Skins. Ask me if we're going to have to fill that. Are we going to fill at the end of the game? All the time? It's early.
You know, Dave, we got, I guess we'll go to that golf, though, huh? We pick up the golf early. It's... Boy, we really have a problem then. That will have to fill. Waiting at the horseshoe. Jeez.
Minnesota without Tarkenton is like Florida without sunshine.
Yeah. With Nick Bonacani, this is Don Crickey back at Orchard Park, New York. The Bills have the ball. They trail in the game 7-0. 13 and a half minutes to go in the ball game. Wide open is Roland Hooks. He looks a little like O.J. Change of pace move, and Roland Hooks comes up with a big gainer. Combining with Ferguson, Harold McClinton finally knocked him out of bounds.
Here we go again, a little play-action pass. The linebacker Curtis gets caught up, and what happens is they get it out to Hooks. It was Curtis's responsibility. He didn't take it, and Hooks makes a big first down for the Bills. It's a tough play on the linebacker. San Francisco, Minnesota, it's 10-0. Here we have a 0-0 game, Tampa Bay and Chicago. The San Francisco's 10-0 over Minnesota. Ray Wersching, field goal, 31 yards. New York Giants, 27-7 over St. Louis in the fourth quarter.
Roland Hooks, who was on the receiving end of that pass for the big gainer, was a 10th-round draft choice out of North Carolina State. Got his chance to play when O.J. Simpson got hurt. Now the Buffalo Bills again have moved the ball across to the Washington side. But they still have not scored. Ferguson throws hard and the ball. Lou Picone lost it. Picone had 9 stitches put in one of his hands, his right hand, on Friday night. He knocked down a door and it was a brittle because of the cold and it broke. But he did not start. John Kimbrough was in, but now Lou Picone is in there.
An updated score, Atlanta over New England, 10-9. Freddie Steinfort, 26-yard field goal. Well, that's a big game for both teams.
Isn't it? Second down and 10 now for the Bills at the 43-yard line of Washington. Ferguson loops it out. Big guy Braxton is there. He is down to the 36-yard line, short of a first down. It's going to bring up third and about 3. Jake Scott came up to knock him down. Freddie Steinfort, high draft choice of Oakland, cut by that team, hit the field goal that has now put Atlanta ahead 10-9 after the Falcons trailed 9-0 in that game. Atlanta goes to Los Angeles next week. It's going to be a very big game in the NFC West. Bills have 12 first downs. The Skins have 11. Bills have rushed for 125 yards. Washington for just 60. But the Redskins lead the game, 7-0. Ferguson looks over everybody. A timing pattern. As Picone held up, Lavender came up to play on the ball. Picone tried to go deep. Incomplete. Now it's going to be 4th and 3. Offense is staying in. The field goal kicker missed 2 with the wind behind him. 1 block. So Roland Hooks comes in. I think we'll probably see the throw.
Yeah, well, probably throw the ball, but I question that pattern because they only needed 2 or 3 yards. I thought they'd go to a back coming out of the backfield, just hook up and just get the first down, but there they decided to go for the marbles.
Well, they might have figured that's what Washington was looking for and they could burn them. Whatever, it's still 4th and 3.
Here it is here, Hooks.
First down. Reuben Gant got open over the middle. Hooks was swinging out, too. He had a couple guys to go to.
He had either one of them to take. Hooks comes out here and hooks up. He's all alone. Again, hooks up over the middle in front of Harold McClinton, the middle linebacker. A big first down for the Bills. The fans have something to cheer about here in Buffalo.
Nick, you played 15 years in pro football. I guess you probably as memorable as any game had to be the one against Washington out in Los Angeles, didn't it?
Well, I think that's the highlight of anybody's career if you can win a Super Bowl, and that's what we did against a real fine Washington ball club.
That's the game that Gary Tremian opened and closed as a passer. Too much on it. Incomplete, and as Ferguson released the ball, Bill Brundage hit him hard. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Bills. They have the ball at the 27-yard line of Washington.
Don, you wouldn't believe it, but the next year we went down to training camp, and while everybody, the offense and defenses were practicing, Gary Yepremian used to be over on the sideline throwing the football. Shula made him try to learn how to pass after he threw that interception.
In case it ever happened again?
I guess so. I don't know.
What did the guys say when he came over to the bench?
They didn't say much. I think he got the message.
You lost your shutout, huh? Hard throw, and Braxton has the ball. He fumbles the football, and the Redskins get it. Dusick picks it up, and he's knocked down back at the 3. Braxton with a good reception, then runs the ball, but he is stripped of it.
Again, a real fine throw and a real good catch by Braxton, but the only thing he doesn't do is hold on to the football. A costly turnover for Buffalo.
He could have overtime here, I think. Buffalo didn't score. Kadish.
Mike Kadish is playing super.
Kadish, 71.
And a middle linebacker, 52. Croker's blitzing on almost every play. Number 71, Kadish. That's him get killed. Marv?
The cheering for the Bills is quieted for the moment as the Redskins come up with a big turnover, but they're deep in their own area now as Mike Thomas tries to give them some room, and the Bills defense comes up and makes the hit. Mike Thomas was knocked down by the free agent linebacker Shane Nelson, so it's going to be second and about 9 for the Redskins from their 4-yard line.
An interesting call here, Don, would be a play-action pass and go for the marbles because Theismann does have the wind to his back. And it looks like Buffalo is looking for the run.
The Bills won back-to-back American Football League championships back in the mid-'60s. Jack Kemp, now a congressman from Western New York, was the quarterback of those teams. Cookie Gilchrist, the fullback. Now it is Theismann pitching deep. And the pass is incomplete, intended for Larry Jones. Kadish is putting some heat on the quarterback.
Number 71, Mike Kadish. Let's watch him here. He makes a good move on Fugit and gets to Theismann just as he releases the ball, but Theismann probably felt the pressure. Updated score, Pittsburgh now leads Seattle 16-13. Roy Girella, 43-yard field goal. They're in the fourth quarter.
They were teammates at Notre Dame, Theismann and Mike Kadish.
But when your paycheck is signed by different people,
that's right.
It doesn't make much difference.
Forget that very quickly. Mike Thomas and Calvin Hill are now in the offensive backfield. Theismann is 8 for 23, has 107 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The only touchdown. It's a 7-0 game, Washington. Fourth quarter. Danny Buggs apparently had both feet in. He didn't think he did, I don't think, when he got out of bounds, but he did. So Danny Buggs, Lightning Buggs, they call him at West Virginia. Said he ran a 4.35 40. I don't think anybody's ever done that, but...
Well, I'll tell you, that was a gutty call by Theismann. Third down, and you're on your 5-yard line. The easiest thing to do would be to run it and then kick it out. But he sprinted out a little bit, found Buggs on the sideline, hit him for the big first down.
So now we have 10:47 left to go in the game. Clarence Harmon and Mike Thomas to set back. The Skins get a big first down. Controlling the clock as they try to swing it out. Mike Thomas is leveled. Coming across on the play with Bill Dunston along with Mike Kadish. Ben Williams was also on the stop.
Boy, you certainly can't fault the Buffalo defense today. I mean, all you heard here is criticism of how bad they've been playing all year. But the 2 games that we've seen them in, against Atlanta and here against Washington, 2 NFC teams, they played good defensive football. Shutting out Atlanta 3-0 when we were here. Mike Thomas, 24 rushes, 76 yards. Good afternoon so far for Thomas.
Second down and 7 coming up now for Theismann and the Redskin offense at their 22. Swinging out and making a fine play was Gene Fugit. Fugit caught the whole secondary in a revolve going back the other way and just came out against the grain and was wide open.
That's what you call picking the wrong guy. Here's Dallas 14-7 over Philadelphia. Roger Staubach, 16-yard pass to Drew Pearson. They're in the second quarter. Fugit went out to the sideline. It looked like Jones come up over the middle, and everybody jumped on Jones, and no one covered Fugit.
The St. Louis Cardinals are being battered by the Giants today. It's 27-7 in the fourth quarter, so the Redskins, if they win this game, will go into that game in a second-place tie in the NFC East with St. Louis. The game next Saturday you'll see here on CBS at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Merv Croker and Shane Nelson combined on the stop for the Buffalo Bills as Clarence Harmon got the call.
One thing they won't have to do, Don, and when the game is over, announce to the fans not to go on the field. There aren't enough people here to worry about.
And there's fewer now. Announced crowd 22,951. Theismann throws a timing pattern. Turning out on the ball is Larry Jones. That was right there. Tough to cover that one.
That's Jones' third reception since he's come in a game for Frank Grant. Hey, there's an old familiar face, number 42, Charlie Taylor. I hope he stays in. Love to see that man. One of the greatest receivers who's ever played the game. And probably one of the finest blockers as a receiver who's ever played the game. So they're bringing him in for his blocking expertise along with number 87, Jerry Smith. So you have in all the old veterans, Don, on a third down in one situation.
Guys can still play football. There's Jerry Smith, 87, and there is Charlie Taylor off to his flank. Mike Thomas didn't get there. The Bills stopped it. Charlie Taylor, football's all-time leading pass receiver with 635 catches coming into this season. He's been hurt, unfortunately, most of the year. Comes in as a blocker, but George Allen shakes his head. We didn't get there, but they still have the lead. Now Chicago leads Tampa Bay 3-0 in the fourth quarter on a field goal by Bob Thomas. And the Vikings are getting beaten today by the San Francisco 49ers 10-0. So Chicago could close in on Minnesota and move into a first-place tie.
Minnesota without Tarkenton is like Florida without sunshine.
There's the punt by Mike Bragg. Keith Moody comes up. Fair catch is made. Leonard Willis came in the game, and while Keith Moody was moving up to field the ball on the run, Leonard Willis had already called for a fair catch, and so the Bills get the ball back at their end of the field again at the 24.
What was that little grunt?
Yeah. All right.
Here's a look at the crowd of 22,975. 30 seconds. One Chinese and 2 Jewish people on that.
You know, it looks like we're trying to rub it in, though, I think, Dave. We give it again. I don't think anybody knows, over the sake of 16 people.
No one cares.
Fourth quarter score, Chicago 3, headline 15, Tampa Bay 0.
There's people way up on the top of the stands, Marv, sitting by them. We are back at Rich Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. Some people in the high reaches of Rich Stadium. That's a long way up. Bills have the ball. They've moved it, but they've been unable to get the points up. And they trail 7-0. Ferguson throws again. He has a man open. Jim Braxton, angry over his last fumble. On a collision course all the way out across the 40 out to the 45-yard line. Braxton, you recall, fumbled the ball inside the Washington 5-yard line. The Bills look like they might be moving in to tie the game up.
That's the Braxton that I know best.
Yeah.
Don, running over people, using his 240 pounds to great advantage. Well, one thing he did do, was fumbled that ball away the last time. So they're going to try to make amends. Cincinnati now leads Kansas City 17-7. Ken Anderson a pass to Pat McAnally, 14 yards. They're in the second quarter.
First and 10 Buffalo. We have 7 minutes left to play in the game. Ferguson gets some time, puts it up. Picked off by Ken Houston. Inside the 40. Out to free football again, and Buffalo's got it back. Looks like Joe DeLamielleure got it. Nope, Washington has it. He lost it. Apparently, DeLamielleure had the ball, but they're ruling the play was down.
It's a play-action pass, meaning they faked to the backs, but Washington did not get fooled on this one. Kenny Houston just playing center field back there, sees it all the way, jumps in front of it. The intended receiver was number 82, Kimbrough, and he just takes it up the field, but he fumbles right here. The ball is stripped by Gillick. Looked like DeLamielleure had it, but didn't let it get away from him.
Here comes Clarence Harmon, turning the corner on Gillick. Cornerback comes up and hits him, along with Shane Nelson. Ike Harrison and Shane Nelson made the hit.
Well, the clock continues to run, Don, with 6:35 left in the fourth quarter.
Mind you, again, you'll be seeing the Mixed Team Golf Championships from Largo, Florida following this game. Matchup of top men and women professionals. It is 2nd down and 4 now for the Redskins. They have the ball at the 43-yard line of Buffalo. Washington scored in the second quarter on a 12-yard pass, Theismann to Fugit, and that's the only scoring we've had in the game. It's 7-0 Redskins. Same play, this time it goes to Mike Thomas. Breaks one tackle, gets the ball down inside the Buffalo 40. Dwight Harrison made the stop.
Great individual effort that time by Mike Thomas. Sherman White penetrated into the backfield hand-to-hand on Thomas, but he just accelerated and got the big first down.
They're spotting the ball at the 39-yard line of Buffalo. Clock stopped with 6:07 to play. Redskins looking to maintain that offense, keep those yard markers moving, and run the clock.
They'll settle for a field goal to put them up 10-0.
Heisman cocks and throws, and it's caught by Jones. He's just played great football for the Skins. Catching the ball where it's toughest to catch over the middle.
That's his 4th reception since he's come into the ball game. I guess that's the invitation to George Allen to say, I want to play a little bit more. Here it is right here, just a look-in pattern to Jones and makes a fine reception. He takes a beating after he catches it, but holds on to the ball. They do have fine receivers in Jones and Fugit and Frank Grant. Pittsburgh 23, Seattle 13. Bradshaw 22-yard pass to Lynn Swan during the fourth quarter.
Here's the handoff, turning the corner with the ball. Trying to is Clarence Harmon. Shane Nelson ran him down. The knockdown is made at the 30. There's a loss of about 2 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12. But the clock continues to run. It shows 5:13 to play in the game.
Both teams have 3 timeouts here in the fourth quarter. That's going to be an important factor as you get later into the game. They put a nickel defense in, meaning they take out Mike Kadish and Shane Nelson and put in a defensive back. So they have 5 defensive backs in the game right now.
Thomas running hard. On a 2nd and long play, he gets the ball down to about the 28-yard line. That's going to bring up 3rd down now for the Redskins, 3rd and 9. And the clock continues to run with Washington in the lead, 7-0. 4:35 left to play.
I think the fans are booing, Don, simply because Mike Kadish is the one who gets the best pass rush on the team, yet Buffalo seems to pull him out in passing situations.
Danny Buggs goes wide to the left. Larry Jones is wide to the right. Two guys who can really go deep. Heisman takes a look. Over the middle he throws, and the play is broken up. Tried to go to Fugit. Doug Jones came up on the ball.
One more step by Jones, and he'd be going the other way. Mosley is coming out to attempt a field goal here.
That put the lid on if Mosley can hit this field goal. He's got the wind behind him.
Looks like about a 45-yard field goal, Don.
Theismann will hold at the 35, so it will be a 45-yard attempt. It's going to be long enough. Just wide to the left. So Mark Mosley can't get it done, and okay. All right, sir.
We get a lot of calls from Washington complaining about us. Is this remaining? 4:40 remaining?
Yeah.
So big score.
Wow. New England scored.
Don, New England just has taken a lead from Atlanta 16-10. Steve Grogan, a 32-yard pass to Stanley Morgan, the fleet rookie out of Tennessee. That's 4:40 remaining in the fourth quarter.
And here at Orchard Park, it is the Bills trailing the Redskins 7-0. In the flat, the ball goes out to big Mike Collier, who's knocked out of bounds as he crosses the 35-yard line. 3:59 left to play. Mike Curtis made the hit.
I like this guy Collier, Don. He's been running the ball real hard, and here he makes a nice reception from Ferguson. Just a little out pattern, but he puts the moves on up front. He just runs with a lot of power to get out of bounds. So it saves Buffalo from having to use up a timeout.
Yep, stop the clock with 3:59 to go. Redskins scored in the second quarter. That have been the only points. Both teams having trouble with their field goal attempts in this gusting wind. Buffalo's mounted challenges, but unable to get the ball in the end zone. Now Ferguson takes a drop, swings it out. Man is open in Braxton, but it's behind him. That'll bring up second down and 10. Redskins are going to that deep zone drop that you played at Miami, Nick, and it's given the back some room to work in front of it.
Well, they're doing is, they're doing that with the secondary, but they're trying to cover the backs man-to-man with Curtis and Dusek. So they feel that Braxton can work on Dusek a little bit because Dusek really plays the run better than he does play the pass. So they're trying to work on Dusek and also on Curtis.
John Kimbrough, the flyer, has come back into the game. He is wide to the left. Chandler wide to the right. Ooh, look at McDowell get through, but, oh, man, Roland Hooks, who's played good football, just lost one there. Perfect throw to him by Ferguson, but Hooks didn't get it.
There again it was. Hooks was isolated on Mike Curtis, and Hooks, who has so much more speed than Curtis, just outdistanced him, but dropped the football. Collier comes in to replace Hooks. San Francisco 17-0 over Minnesota. Davey Williams, an 80-yard kickoff return. 49ers smell something.
Oh, I tell you, they're putting the knockout punch on the Vikings today. Going to be real tough to get in as a wild card. It could be decided next Saturday, a good part of it, when the Redskins play the St. Louis Cardinals. The game you'll see on CBS. 3-14. Ferguson takes a look, swings it out. He did well just to get the ball away as Ron McDowell was coming hard, and so was Eddie Brown. Coming on a safety blitz.
That time, Washington had 6 defensive backs into the ball game. They had pulled Mike Curtis, and they decided to use Eddie Brown on that safety blitz, and it worked out.
Washington at St. Louis next week. The Minnesota Vikings, if they lose, would be in a tie with the Chicago Bears in the NFC Central, and the Vikings have to play next against the Raiders at Oakland.
Now we're beginning to see the value of Fran Tarkenton as he sits on the bench with the injury.
Marv Bateman, who got off a 75-yarder, just got one off the side of his foot. Can feast or famine for him. On Thursday night, December 8th at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, you'll see the 1977 Heisman Trophy Award special. As the top college football player in the land will be presented this prestigious award. Earl Campbell of the University of Texas, one of the leading candidates. Great little back, Terry Miller from Oklahoma State, McAfee from Notre Dame, all candidates for this award. It'll be an hour of entertainment. You'll see people like Elliott Gould, O.J. Simpson, Connie Stevens, Leslie Uggams, Phyllis George, Reggie Jackson. Thursday night at 10 Eastern Time.
Don Criqui will be in the audience.
And up goes Clarence Harmon. And I'll be on the dais. I'm on the Heisman Trophy committee. It's a great award. One guy gets it a year, obviously. Tony Green makes the run out of bounds on...
Here's Harmon. He makes a nice move in here and just does some good hard running. Puts a move to the outside, trying to outdistance Tony Green. And Green just wrestles him out of bounds before he gets to the touchdown marker.
Ball's at the 27-yard line now as the Redskins have 3:34 between them and a victory. And they're moving the ball right now, leading 7-0. Look at Mike Thomas. He just keeps getting hit and moves off it and slides and glides down inside the 20-yard line to the 18.
Offensive line doing a good job. Terry Hermeling, Lenny Haas, Ron Saul up in the middle. Mike Thomas making some good moves. Picks up 8 important yards, and the clock continues to run with 3:11 left in the ball game. Somehow, some way, the Washington Redskins always seem to get it done, whether it's a special teams play or whether it's a pass by Theismann or a run by Harmon or a run by Thomas. They know they smell the playoffs as a wild card, and they're going to stick in there in St. Louis next week.
Clarence Harmon working hard, running the ball and also running the clock. It's down to 2:43 and running in the fourth quarter. Washington 7, Buffalo nothing. The Redskins will be tied with the St. Louis Cardinals in the NFC East at the end of today's play if they hold on here, which they appear to be doing as the Redskins are winning. The Cardinals are getting blasted by the Giants 27-7 at this point in the fourth quarter.
And Atlanta's losing, so that hurts their chances for a wild card. San Francisco's winning, so today's L.A. against Oakland's an important game as far as that's concerned.
Isn't it?
Boy, everything's up in the air, Don, right now. All these wild card deals, it's incredible.
It's added a great dimension. It keeps a lot of teams alive right down to the final 14th week.
Then next year they go to 2 more wild card teams, so it makes it even more interesting.
2 more weeks to play it out. They go to 16-week schedule.
And that simple formula that the NFL has come up with. I read it 4 times. I still have problems with it.
If the Buffalo Bills finish where they are now in that spot in their division, the AFC East, they could end up next season having to play the Dolphins twice, the New England Patriots twice. Of course, they have to anyway in their division, the Baltimore Colts, but in addition, play the whole AFC Central Division. Next Team Golf is coming up next here on CBS following the Redskins and the Buffalo Bills. It is 2:08 showing on the fourth quarter clock, and the Redskins lead the game 7-0. It's tough to win in this league. How's Coach Shula holding up? He's turned that around again after his first losing season ever with 17 knee injuries.
Well, he's just real happy that the young guys are playing as good as they are. Update, Pittsburgh finally has done it. 30-13, 8:16 remaining in the fourth quarter. Terry Bradshaw, a 3-yard run. They were favored by 21 points going into the ballgame. They had a real struggle.
You see, the Redskins have their full complement of timeouts. Buffalo has 2. Washington's not looking for timeouts now. They're looking for the ultimate timeout, the final gun. Clarence Harmon runs it down the middle, gets down to the 16-yard line. There's apparently a penalty marker down, Nick.
Some of the fans are booing because they thought Harmon fumbled the football and Buffalo had recovered. But not so. And there's also a penalty flag down. And it's going against the Bills for unsportsmanlike conduct, which normally happens when you're behind 7-0 and the other team is knocking at your door.
Defense, number 24, first down.
Doug Jones, the strong safety. It's the accused.
Let's take a look at it here. Harmon going for the first down. There it is, piling on by Doug Jones.
Clarence Harmon working hard, and then Shane Nelson comes over and really wraps him. Nelson, the free agent, leads the Bills in tackles. Number 59, as Clarence Harmon keeps the clock running, and now it's going to be officially stopped as the 2-minute warning is given. 1:58 left to go. When we come back, the Redskins will be closing in on perhaps a second score.
Imagine carrying 40 pounds like that.
Bears play. Who do the Bears play next week? Green Bay at Chicago. They'll take over the division lead.
That's right.
So the wild card will definitely come out of here because these teams are going to have both. So,
are we going to fill for 15 minutes?
back at Rich Stadium, the Washington Redskins with a 7-0 lead and are now challenging for yet another score. They have second down coming up at the 7-yard line of Buffalo. Second and goal from there.
They just want to hang on to the ball, Don, run the clock out. They're not interested in scoring.
They get it down to the 5-yard line. And Buffalo signals for a timeout with 1:51 left to play. So the Bills take a timeout. Down at Tampa Bay, the Chicago Bears are now in front of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10-0. Walter Payton has run with the ball 30 times in that game and has picked up only 71 yards. You'd probably be dreaming of that 63 on Tampa Bay. Leroy Selman might be on a losing team, but he isn't an all-pro, aren't he?
Well, Tampa Bay has an excellent defense. They really do. Next year, everybody's talking about Tampa Bay drafting Ken McAfee, the big tight end from Notre Dame, because they feel they need him to get those great running backs going. The running game starts with the tight end making that block on a linebacker, and so far they just don't have one down in Tampa. Good running backs are Ricky Bell, Davis, but they've not been able to shake loose this year, so they're going for McAfee.
I'd like to thank these gentlemen now who've done their usual fine work. Our producer today, David Fox, our director, Marvin Muse. Associate producer Rick Sharp, Artie Tin, head of field operations, and all these others on the CBS team. As we come down now to 1:51 left in this game here at Rich Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. The Washington Redskins, buoyed by the news that the Giants are wiping out the Cardinals today. I tell you, St. Louis might be out of business. They've been blasted their last 2 times out. End off to Harmon, and he's working hard but didn't get there. And the Bills quickly signal for and are allotted another timeout. Tony Green, their defensive captain, jumps in, gets the timeout signal. The CBS Sports Spectacular on Saturday, December 17th has some great events for you. You'll see the World Welterweight Boxing Championship between Carlos Palomino and Jose Palacio. And that'll be followed by the 1977 National Hot Rod Association World Championships on the Ontario Speedway in California. Shirley Muldowney and Don Garlitz, the kingpins of that sport, competing. Then the U.S. Professional Arm Wrestling Championships. And finally, the culminating event in the decathlon of the world's strongest men. The Tug of War. That's on the CBS Sports Spectacular Saturday, December 17th.
I understand Timmy Ryan and Gary Bender are competing in that.
The Tug of War? Not with those guys.
Final at Flushing Meadows. Giants 27, Cardinals 7. Big win for the Giants.
Big win for the Redskins. Mosley hits the ball up, and there's no doubt about that. He put his foot into it and turned right around. He knew it was good, and the Redskins put the game on ice, if in fact they'd not done that a long time ago. They lead it 10-0. College football bowl games coming up on CBS. On Sunday, December 25th, Penn State and Arizona State lock up in the Fiesta Bowl.
Paterno against Cush. Two great coaches.
And on the 31st, December 31st, it'll be Stanford versus LSU in the Sun Bowl from El Paso. The Cotton Bowl on Monday, January 2nd. Top-ranked and unbeaten Texas. That perfect record of 11-0 against Notre Dame, which closed strong last night in regular season play, routing Miami of Florida. Number 1, Texas, going against Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl, January 2nd here on CBS.
You have a rooting interest in that game, Don?
How about you? Notre Dame will be ready. Texas, a great football team. You know, they talk about Earl Campbell, how good he is, and he's tremendous. He's the best back in the country. But they have a terrific defense.
They got this guy, Ham Lamb, or something like that. He runs about a 9.3, one of the fastest receivers, an Olympic sprinter. So they can put some pressure on that secondary of Notre Dame's also, even though Notre Dame has that great defensive back, Luther Bradley, back there.
Mark Mosley into the football now, a high spinner downfield. Keith Moody will take the ball at his 2-yard line. 1:41 left to go. Moody turns wide and finally goes down at about the 22-yard line. And with 1:36, as you see, left to play. Hello, girls.
Well, they're happy no matter what the score is. A little cold.
Has that Buffalo spirit for you?
You know, Buffalo is a good town, Don. You know, they just have such great people up here. They really make you feel, you know, very much at home when you come and visit Buffalo. All they want is just some semblance of a winner, and this place will be packed again.
It is a good town. 1:36 left to go. Interesting, a survey of executives that travel to different cities and live there. Buffalo scores 64% preferred as the place to live, people from somewhere else. New York City's 50%. San Francisco, I think, is the leader. Washington's very high, very popular place to live. Bob Chandler was the intended receiver. 1:31 left to go. We remind you again that the next team golf championships from Largo, Florida are coming up again here at 4 o'clock Eastern here on CBS as the Redskins and the Bills come down the stretch now. 1:31 left to play. It'll be 2nd down and 10 coming up for Buffalo. The ball at the Bills' 22-yard line. Washington has a 10-0 lead. Scored in the second quarter on 12-yard pass play. Joe Theismann to Gene Fugit, and the field goal by Mosley. Braxton is open. Big fella from West Virginia. Boy, knocks those defensive backs over like 10 pins. And he gets out of bounds. Well, the National Football League moves into the 13th weekend of play next week as the Giants go against the Eagles at Philadelphia. Detroit plays the Colts at Baltimore. Green Bay and the Bears, that's going to be a big game at Soldier Field in Chicago. Tampa Bay plays at New Orleans, and the doubleheader games, a big one at Oakland. The Vikings, who are losing to San Francisco today, play the powerful Raiders, and Atlanta goes against the Rams at Los Angeles. Check for the games in your area next Sunday on CBS. Roland hooks, rips up the middle, and gets all the way across midfield down to the 46-yard line.
Don, what Buffalo needs is a quick score. They have to get on the scoreboard, they kick the onside kick, and hope for a recovery. We have an injury on the field.
DeLamielleure was shaken up. Joe DeLamielleure was limping, and he's being attended to now, the all-pro right guard of the Bills.
The great concern is not so much today, but you hope it's not an injury that would affect his future, because he's such a great guard and such a great competitor. The final at Atlanta. New England beat Atlanta 16-10. Big win for the Patriots. Keeps them in a wild card spot also, Don.
Yeah. And depending on what happens the rest of the way, Atlanta's still in it. If Rams, of course, have a tough one today, they got to play the Oakland Raiders, and then Atlanta going to Los Angeles next week.
It's like they draw it up. It's going down to the final game.
But more teams are still in it than are out of it.
NFL rule, they have to let 10 seconds run off the clock if someone's injured.
Ferguson drops, throws. Gerard Williams came up on the ball. The injury timeout, 10 seconds have to elapse before they can put the ball in the play, right?
The official stands over the ball and lets 10 seconds elapse off the clock, and then the ball then goes into play.
58 seconds left in the game now. Joe Ferguson, you see his numbers for the day, 15 of 35 for 180 yards, was intercepted twice. Tough day to throw on. The big American flag high above the stadium has been straight out for the whole game. Winds gusting up over 25, 30 miles an hour. Temperature in the 20s. Very difficult to play effective throwing football in. Ferguson takes a look, puts it in the flat, and Reuben Gant catches the ball and goes out of bounds. He gets a first down and only used 5 seconds. Coach Allen would like to see this over with. He just got the news about the St. Louis Cardinals losing. There's that third base coach's signal.
The old story, anything can happen at any time. So if you get a shot for an onside kick, you never know how that ball's going to bounce. The Redskins would like to be comfortably in the locker room with this win.
Swing pass to Braxton. Oh, he was wide open. The Redskins playing that deep defense. They don't want to give up the touchdown throw, and Jim Ringo, very little he can do about it, as Braxton just couldn't catch the ball in the cold.
If Braxton held on to that ball, Don, he'd still be running.
Yeah.
Because there was double coverage on number 82, Kimbrough, and there was no one who even saw Braxton out in the flat. Let's look for Braxton here. Watch. There's no one around him. See the double coverage out there? Everybody's back is to Braxton, but he can't hold on to the football, so it brings up a 2nd down and 10 on the 34-yard line of the Redskins.
Hit him in a bad place, huh? Denver has gone up in front 24-14 now over Houston. Hard throw. Look at that catch. Chandler turning out on Gerard. He is terrific. Look at Chandler. Watch this catch.
Well, it had to be an excellent throw, too, Don,
Yeah.
because Williams was all over Chandler. There's no question Ferguson is looking for Chandler all the way. The blitz was on. It was good pickup by Buffalo. Look at this, the way he had to thread that needle. Right on the money. Good coverage by Williams, but a better pass and reception by Chandler and Ferguson. At Houston, Denver now leads the Oilers 24-14. Norris Weiss on a 5-yard run. That's 4:58 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Chandler's a new father. 2 nights ago, his wife gave birth to a little girl out in California.
They're calling the baby Missy.
The old man doesn't miss many, does he? Ferguson takes a look. Loops it out. Ooh, Gerard Williams had his hands on it. It would not have been an inbounds reception, but a good defensive play coming up on the ball. And 40 seconds remain in the game as the Bills are going to go down firing.
I think what they have to do is they have to go with Hooks a little bit more, because he's a little better pass receiver than Collier is, plus that he's quicker. The Redskins are really dropping deep, giving the Bills plenty of opportunity to catch the ball up short. So you get it to Hooks and hope he can break a tackle, get in the end zone quick.
The ball is down to the 24-yard line. Ferguson, 17 for 17 completions and 39 throws, 202 yards.
And no points on the board.
Nope. It's the bottom line, isn't it? Ferguson throws. Reuben Gant can't go in the air. It's just a little too high for the big fella.
3rd down. I was looking a field over, Don. I didn't see anybody open. That's just good coverage by the Redskins. Everybody was blanketed. Hooks came out and was picked up immediately by Lavender.
I don't think Ferguson saw anybody open either because he threw it away.
Well, Minnesota's really taking it on the chin today. San Francisco 24, Minnesota nothing. Delvin Williams a 5-yard run. 7:16 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Delvin Williams is having a big day. Everybody is on San Francisco. They'll be 6-6. They really come on after losing their first 5.
Plunkett feels more comfortable nowadays.
Ferguson throws. Tipped by Reuben Gant. And that brings up 4th down and the Bills' final shot at it. 31 seconds left. Maybe Ferguson will look to a shorter pattern to get a guy going out of bounds for a first down.
Well, he has to get at least 10 yards because this is their final opportunity. Gant had a step on Eddie Brown, but the ball was thrown just a little behind him. Well, Ringo sends in the final play of the game unless they get a first down. And this is the last home game for the Bills now, so the people here in Buffalo are going home possibly with a loss.
Big Ron McDowell's been in there the distance at left end. Big fella stoked up on chicken wings, a local favorite around here. Look at that, McDowell. Woo is a free ball. McDowell was spinning and coming in hard, and coming up the middle was Lorch. He's played a good game, gets the good rush.
Well, that's it, as far as the Bills are concerned. Ferguson on his last effort to try and complete it. Let's see the hand go up.
I'd like to thank our very fine spotter, George Crossan, here in Buffalo. With 27 seconds left to play, the Washington Redskins are about to make it official and move into a tie with the St. Louis Cardinals in that big matchup coming up next Sunday, or next Saturday. Next Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, you will see the Cardinals and the Redskins here on CBS. The playoff spot could be on the decided in that game, depending on how things finally work out. 23 seconds left to go. The clock winds down. Bills and the Redskins exchanging amenities now as match is over.
Well, it's just like everybody says. It's fierce on the field, violence on the field, but once that whistle ends and the game is over, you know, you shake hands and you forget about the match. They're counting down 3, 2, 1. That's it. Ball game is over.
So Coach Allen goes off the field, a victor today, and in a tie, we'll be back at Rich Stadium in a moment. Right.
Get the car started, Dave?
Yep. Keep your answers too long. We'll go back.
Okay. Are you saying I talk a lot? Forward? How's that? This way?
Yes. Yes. What? Right. Well, I better get into the car to the absolute outset of the countdown. Oh, jeez. Get it all. Back at Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, the Washington Redskins have just defeated the Buffalo Bills 10-0 and moved into a tie with the St. Louis Cardinals for second place in the NFC East, as today the Cardinals were waxed by the New York Giants 27-7. So, Nick, it's going to be interesting down the stretch.
Well, Theismann did it a little bit. He hit Fugit for the touchdown. Mike Thomas running real good today. Good to see Thomas run like that, Don, really. Fine back. And Harmon, near the end, kept the ball going. They were able to eat up the clock a little bit, keep the ball away from the Buffalo Bills. So they had to do it when they did.
Now, the Redskins made that great run last year for the playoffs, and it looks like they're going to do it again.
Well, you can never count this team out. Somehow George Allen always gets them up for the big ones. Like Jake Scott says, just give us a few more veterans. We'll be there again next year.
The scheduling is tough. They have the Cardinals coming up next Saturday, and then they've got the Los Angeles Rams at RFK Stadium. So if the Washington Redskins do, in fact, make the playoffs, it won't be easy, but they're certainly making a run at it now, and today's developments have been very positive for them as they beat the Bills here 10-0. And Theismann stayed in the distance at quarterback. Apparently he'll be in there again next Saturday against St. Louis.
That's right. Another man who looked real good today was number 21, Larry Jones. He came in when Frank Grant got hurt. He only caught 4 passes for around 80 yards, made a lot of big plays. Just a super player today.
Don't forget Sports Spectacular on December 17th, the Carlos Palomino Welterweight Championship fight here on CBS, in addition to other great events. That's December 17th. After this word from your local station, we'll be taking you to Largo, Florida for the final round of the Mixed Team Golf Championship. The NFL Today is a presentation of CBS Sports. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, man.
My toes are.